The next section that we are going to discuss today is the fundamental rights, and this part is very, very important because it is very important for all of us being Indian citizens to know our fundamental rights. Okay, the fundamental rights are enshrined in the part 3 of our constitution. All right, the Constitution of India has given the citizens of India some fundamental rights, okay, which we acquire as soon as we become the citizen of this country. Okay, the fundamental rights are enshrined in part 3 of our constitution. They are justiciable. Now, what is the meaning of justiciable? This word is very important. Okay, justiciable. What do you mean by justiciable? Our fundamental rights are justiciable. That means if our fundamental rights are infringed, if somebody feels that his or her fundamental rights are being violated by anybody or anyone under any circumstances, okay, that person can move the court of law. All right, suppose if I feel that my fundamental right has been violated, I can approach the court. Okay, so they are justiciable. No one can infringe anybody's fundamental right. Nobody can violate anybody's fundamental right. They are given by the Constitution of India to each and every citizen of India. The fundamental rights, however, are not absolute. Okay, in case of any external aggression or internal threat, the fundamental rights except right to life and liberty are suspended. Thus, our constitution attempts to strike a balance between individual liberty and social control. Let us read about the 6 fundamental rights. Now, before understanding the fundamental rights, we all need to understand that these rights are not absolute. All right, now what is the meaning of not absolute? Not absolute means these rights can be suspended under certain special circumstances. Okay, these rights are not absolute. Yeah, we all enjoy fundamental rights. Okay, since we are born here in India, we become the citizen of India by birth. There are many ways through which a person can acquire. Okay, there is enshrined. There are the procedures to acquire Indian citizenship. Indian citizenship is enshrined in our constitution. Okay, and one of the most simplest way through which a person can acquire Indian citizenship is by birth. And all of us, you and me here, whoever, the students of our school, or me or you all, the students of our school, we have acquired our citizenship by birth. Okay, and as soon as we become the citizens of India, we enjoy the fundamental rights. Okay, but these rights are not absolute. These rights can be suspended under certain circumstances. Okay, if there is any external aggression, if there is any threat to the country, okay, in a situation when the country is under threat, external or internal. Okay, if there is any internal problem in the administration of the country, or any external aggression, okay, our fundamental rights, all the fundamental rights except the right to life and liberty are suspended. Okay, if there is a situation in a country like an external aggression, an external attack, or any internal problem, all right, the fundamental rights can be suspended temporarily. Okay, all the fundamental rights except the right to life and liberty can be suspended temporarily. Okay, and another very important thing that we need to understand is that rights come along with some responsibilities, some duties. Okay, we are given the fundamental rights. We are free to do certain things. That doesn't mean that we are free to do anti-social activities, or we are free to do something which can bring bad consequences for our country. Okay, so fundamental rights comes with fundamental duties. Okay, we will understand this gradually. First of all, in today's class, let us understand the 6 fundamental rights, okay, that we enjoy being the citizen of India, and these fundamental rights are guaranteed by the Constitution of India. Am I clear? The first fundamental right is the right to equality. According to Articles 14 to 18, the Constitution has declared that all citizens are equal before law. No one can be discriminated against on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. This also applies in matters of education and employment. The weaker and the backward sections of the society have, however, been given certain privileges by way of reservation of seats in schools, colleges, government services, and in legislature. The state will provide all citizens equal protection of law. Our Constitution has also abolished untouchability. Its practice in any form is punishable offence. During the British rule, certain titles like Rai Bahadur and Khan Bahadur were awarded to individuals. All such titles have now been abolished. Only military ranks and academic distinctions can be awarded. Okay, so according to the Article 14 to 18 of our Indian Constitution, each and every Indian citizen is equal before the eye of law. Okay, no one can be discriminated, no one can be marginalized on the basis of race, caste, place of birth, sex, etc. Okay, and this also applies in educational institutions and employment. No one can be denied admission on the basis of admission to any educational institution on the basis of race, caste, creed, gender, or place of birth, or religion, etc. Okay, it also applies for employment. Okay, nobody can be discriminated from being employed on the basis of his or her caste or religion or place of birth or sex, etc. Okay, however, there are certain reservations in educational institutions, for employments, and even in the legislature for the people belonging to the backward sections as enshrined in the Constitution of India. Okay, our Constitution has abolished untouchability. Untouchability is a punishable offense. Okay, untouchability is a punishable offense. During the British rule, there were certain titles given by the British government, like Rai Bahadur or Khan Bahadur. These titles are all abolished. There are no such titles in India now. Only military titles and academic titles can be awarded. Clear? So this is the right to equality. Each and every Indian citizen is equal in India. Nobody can be discriminated on the basis of birth, of place of birth, race, caste, creed, religion, etc. This is also applied in the educational institution and also for employment. Untouchability is a heinous crime in India, and the titles offered by the British government like Khan Bahadur, Rai Bahadur, Diwan, this kind of titles are all abolished. Only military titles and academic titles can be awarded. Clear? The next fundamental right is right to freedom. A very important right guaranteed by the Constitution of our country. In order to promote the idea of liberty enshrined in the Constitution, our Constitution has guaranteed us 6 different kind of freedom. Alright, in order to promote the liberty. Now, what do you mean by liberty? Liberty means absence of any hindrance for the all-round development of the person, of the people of our country. Alright, liberty means creating such an environment that people grow, people develop. Okay. In order to promote the idea of liberty, the Constitution of India has guaranteed us 6 different kind of freedom. kinds of freedom. Number one is freedom of speech and expression. We are free to express ourselves. All right, we are free to give our opinion. All right, we are free to have our own ideology and have our own perspective of life and to express it. Okay, assemble peacefully without arms. We also have the freedom to assemble peacefully without arms. Okay, we can assemble, we can gather. Okay, we can have a meeting, we can have a conference. All right, but without any arms, without any weapons. Okay, form associations and unions. We are free as Indian citizens, we are free to form associations and unions. We have the students union, right? We have the teachers union, we have the doctors union. So in our country, the people of our country are free to form associations and unions. Okay, but these associations and unions should work for the development of the people. Okay. Next, move freely throughout the territory of India. Here, move freely means we are free to visit, we are free to go to any part of the country we want. Okay, here free doesn't mean that we don't have to give the bus fare or air fare or train fare. Okay, move freely throughout the territory of India means we are free to visit we are free to visit any state or any part of India we would like to. Reside and settle in any part of India. We are free to reside, we are free to settle, we are free to buy property in any part of India. Practice any profession and carry on any occupation, trade or business. Okay, we are free to practice any profession. We are free to choose any profession which will develop us, which will develop our nation, and we also can carry out any occupation, trade or business. We must remember, this part is very important. Okay, we must remember that the right to freedom has to be used in the right manner so that it doesn't harm others. For example, the right to assemble doesn't mean that we can create public disturbances and cause problems for others. Similarly, freedom of speech and expression allows us to express ourselves freely without hurting or harming others. The right to freedom also means that no citizen can be punished without being proved guilty in the court of law. Neither can anyone be punished for the same offense twice. Thus, this right protects us against injustice. Always remember, freedom, I have already mentioned, freedom comes along with some responsibilities and duties. We need to be very careful while enjoying the right to freedom. We cannot create nuisance in the society, in our country, in the name of right to freedom. Okay. Now, for example, we are free to assemble, right? We are free to assemble. That doesn't mean that we'll assemble in such a way that is disturbing to that creates these public disturbances or creates or causes problems for others. Suppose we are gathering in a particular place and we are using loudspeakers for too long time, for a very long period of time. All right, or we are gathering in a particular place without informing the administration. This is wrong. Okay, or we cannot simply say that we have the right to gather, so we will gather on the middle of the road. No, we cannot gather in such a way that creates public disturbances or creates problem. Okay. Again, another freedom of speech and expression. We are free to express ourselves. We are free to have a point of view. We are free to express our point of view. But that doesn't mean that we will hurt or harm others. Okay, our feelings, our expression should not be derogatory. Okay, whatever we express should not be we should not talk freely about something or somebody which is derogatory. Okay, which may defame someone. All right, which may harm others. Okay, we are free to express, but without hurting or harming others. Okay, so freedom comes with responsibilities. in the name of right to freedom, we cannot create nuisance. We cannot do antisocial things. All right. And again, right to freedom also means that no citizen can be punished without being proved guilty in the court of law. A citizen of India has to be proved guilty before being punished. Okay, and a person cannot be punished for the same offense twice. Okay, suppose if a person is already convicted for a theft, he cannot be punished twice for the same crime that he or she has committed. Thus, this right protects us against injustice. Right to freedom protects us from injustice. At the same time, it also restricts us from causing injustice to others. Am I clear? The next fundamental right is right against exploitation. The word exploitation or the word exploit means ill-treating someone, misusing someone for our benefit, or we ill-treat someone and benefit ourselves from their work. Okay, for example, I'll give you a small example. If we are being employed somewhere, if we are working somewhere for someone, and if we are not paid, all right, or if we are underpaid, then that is exploitation. Okay, and the Constitution of India guarantees right against exploitation. No one in our country can be exploited, can be used. Okay, the Constitution of India guarantees dignity to every individual in the country. Okay, the Articles 23 to 24 abolishes buying and selling of human beings as well as all forms of forced labor. Forced labor is prohibited in India. Slavery is prohibited in India. Slavery means we take somebody's work, we take somebody's service without paying them. Okay, we cannot make somebody work for us without paying. All right, that is known as slavery. Okay, if we employ people to work in our household, or if we employ people to work in any institution or any company that we have, and if we don't pay them, that is a criminal, that is exploiting those people. Okay, the Constitution of India prohibits. Okay, the Constitution of India has abolished the buying and selling of human being as commodities. We can buy and sell things, right? We can buy a pen, we can sell a car, we can sell a scooter, we can buy an airplane ticket, but we cannot traffic or we cannot buy and sell human being because we are not commodities. Buying and selling of human beings is abolished by the Indian Constitution, and it is punishable by law. Any kind of forced labor falls under exploitation, and it is punishable under the law. And this right against exploitation, this right prohibits the employment of children below the age of 14. So children below the age of 14 cannot be employed anywhere, not in our households even. Not in any shops, not in hotels, nowhere a child who is below 14-year-old can be employed. Okay, so we come to an end to today's class. In the next class, we will discuss right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, rights to constitutional remedies. We will also discuss the directive principles of state policy. Thank you and have a nice day.